is December, and we are out kicking off the December edition of the 12 Months of Carp. It's been a long road to get here, and to be honest with you, looking around with this weather, you'd never even know it was actually December. So I believe it's the 3rd. It's a Sunday. And we weren't actually meant to be out on the bank today. Lucky for us, even though he had a little bit of a procedure and spent a week in the hospital, Goldie's recovering very well and is on the bank with us today. We're joined by Andrew as well, who came along to help out and get a little bit of fishing in. So yeah, it was kind of a last minute decision to get out. So we're down at our December location, the same location we did January and February, our winter spot, the spot that was, we were introduced to by, Jeff and Dave and Brian and Clint and all those guys that fished here regularly. We're hoping to get them to join us next week if they're available, because whether we catch today or not, we're coming back next week. We have a lot to cover in the December edition here. There's a little bit more to it than just catching fish. So, it took a nice lazy start to the day, didn't really rush down here. And it's kind of a good thing. The water levels are down at least 3 to 4 feet from what they're normally at. So right now, when it's normally like a pretty big space of water for such a small area, now we're fishing a very narrow channel in front that goes all the way from the channel that we normally fish way down there out to the main river. And yeah, there's a lot of snags here that we didn't know about. Some that we knew about, but we didn't really realize how close they were, and other new snags from when the water was really bad here in the spring. Also, the flat that we would normally be trying to fish on, it's completely exposed. So the question is now, where are the fish? We've had a few indications and a few knocks. We can see bubblers, but we don't know for sure if those are just air pockets coming loose or if they are fish. But no actual takes. We've been here for a few hours. So out in the main river there, the main flow, I have seen some fish rise. Not many, but a few. And with just some minor indications here, nothing really taking, I'm thinking I'm going to go on an adventure. So while Goldie and Andrew hold down the fort and kind of continue to work the water right in front of us, what's left of that deep channel, I'm going to go all the way around to the far point there and get a line with a couple of PVA sticks. That's just the ground bait mix that we had with there's some old live system boilies, chopped vanilla, chopped banana boilies, the robin red ground bait, just that mix of everything that we've kind of just thrown in here throughout the season, plus the mainline Activate stick mix with the mainline hybrid liquid. So, the stick mix is ready to rock. Just making up a few bags to take with me over there. I'm going to just take a bank stick, a net, and a rod. I'm going to go maybe give it a half hour over there and see if I can quickly grab a quick bite. So if I can get a fish over there, maybe I can also help spook the fish up the channel so that Andrew and Goldie can get one. So we'll have to just wait and see. Like I said, we weren't planning on getting out. We're not incredibly prepared, but we're not unprepared. So really, when it comes down to it, kind of just a short session today. Get out, try and get our December fish. If it doesn't happen, well, it doesn't matter. We're coming out next week anyways. But if we can get the fish this week, the pressure's off, and we can focus on hopefully getting everybody else their fish next week. Or if conditions are the same, where the water levels are way down and we can't get the fish concentrated in any one area, then maybe next week we can go to a different location. We'll have to see. Enough rambling. I got fish to try and catch, so I'm going to go around the point and we'll see which one of us gets the first fish.
Afternoon, still December 3rd. As you can tell, we've made a change. Fishing where we were this morning was very slow, so we decided that we needed to up sticks and move over here. John did well. He had 2 bites. One you saw, the second one absolute peeler, so we're thinking it's probably around the range for that area. And as he set into it, good scrap, and as he was about to bring in some line, he let go of his reel and he forgot to tighten up the drag on it, so the fish went, haha, I'm out. So hopefully we do better here. Dave Penderbury from Monster Carp Tackle has been here pretty much every day putting bait in. He's caught a fish just about every day this week, just about. So hopefully some of his luck will rub off on us, and we will pull out at least 1, 2, because Clint doesn't really need one. He's also joined us now this afternoon. So here's to a good afternoon. The sun is out, the wind's calmed down.
You never know it's December.
Never know it's December.
It's like September weather.
It's almost like mornings, like summer weather out here now.
My birthday's in a week and we haven't seen snow yet.
Yeah, you haven't seen the forecast for next week.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so let's get down to some fishing.
It's been a while. We're not really getting any indications here, so we're just going to quickly go over the rig. Now this is the exact same rig I was using this morning at the other location, and you know, I had 2 fish on with it. So we got about 18 inches of rig tubing just to try and help pin it down. You know, I was out for the longest time, but I've recently got some more, so you know, I like using tubing. It's better for the sides of the fish, and like I said, you know, I didn't want to use lead cord today, so that helps it pin down. Apparently Andrew's getting a bump.
Normally line in the water.
Yeah. So we got a 90-gram lead on, just an inline lead, to about a 6-inch hook length, a little split shot below a break in the coating, multi-rig to a size 8 universal perfection hook, and then on top of that, there's a little 12 mil pineapple pop-up and a little piece of floating corn. So this did me both my bites this morning, and you know, I'm kind of regretting not staying there, but it was just where I was and getting the fish. It wasn't a practical spot to get Goldie into. We needed to get somewhere where it's a lot easier for him to move around. So we came back to this spot. The weather's better here. There should be fish here, and it gave us a chance to pick Clint up as well. So we've got about another hour or 2 before we have to get out of here. So we just want to quickly run down the rig. So what I'm doing, you know, fishing that pop-up like that, the only other thing we're adding, TVA stick. So I was using smaller sticks this morning, but I'm thinking I need a bit more attraction here. You know, if the fish are roaming around more and they're not grouping together like we thought they would be, this should really help get their noses into the area and really dig in that silt. Just gonna click that on somehow. this out into the spot. Slippery. Not good for a sharp knife. Do yourself a favor, don't do this. Get a proper can opener. I would have brought that other rod down if you were spotted, even though there's only a 10-pound test on it. You don't have to be smart today. Stuff. Get all the mixed particles in there. That is a serious pack bait right there. That stuff looks good. Look at that. That right there is a bite. What was this that we boiled to get this water? This was maize and hemp seed, peanuts. Like this has got like the juice of pretty much everything that we've been doing. There's also ice in it. It's just frosted up as soon as it hit the bait. Wow.
Let's use the scoop it right there.
I don't want to take it off.
Alright, freeze your hand off then.
I am, because it's all ice. This smells so good. A little bit wet right now, but it's gonna soak in. What has it got? It's got the Bait Tech particles, it's got the mainline hybrid stick mix, sweet corn, oats, and magic juice. Oh look, a Louis Vuitton towel. Let's let that sit for a bit. Good morning. We've been fishing for a few hours now. You know, continuing our December 12 months of carp, and really hoping to wrap this up. You know, it's been a year-long challenge trying to get to this point, and it's 2 weeks since we were out last, and when we were here last, there was no water. However, I did manage to go out to the point and unfortunately lose 2 fish. One just before I turned the camera off and one just after. So, we've had bites in December, but that's it. I lost both fish. We tried 2 different locations last time. Didn't work out for us. But we're back here. We didn't fish last weekend. It took a weekend off to try and finish up some editing of another project that we had to post. And yeah, it was actually kind of nice to take that week off, but that's a week we really could have used. You know, it was right before a snowstorm came in on us this past Monday, so that might have had the fish stirred up, but we'll never know. But the weather for the week, snowstorm hit us on Monday, and it just kept hitting us periodically throughout the week. Got hit really hard on Friday, and put down a nice blanket of heavy snow. It's been below zero every day. I think going down to like the minus teens and minus 20s at night. Right now we're sitting at about -6 to -8. Depends on when the wind picks up. So she's cold today. Goldie is bundled up more than I've ever seen him bundled. If I remember right, 2 weeks ago in the last section of this, you saw him in shorts. He's not in shorts today, let me tell you. So what we're doing is the tactic that pretty much is the primary tactic for this location, from all of our friends that fish it the most. It's pack bait, pop-ups. I'm still using the multi-rig, and I believe Goldie's rocking the garlic pop-up that did baits for him last year. I am currently running a 12 mil pineapple pop-up because that's what got me my bites 2 weeks ago. So we've mixed up a nice pack bait with some Bait Tech particle, some mainline stick mix, sweet corn, and oats, and we're getting it out there. Hopefully that will draw the fish in and get them grubbing around a little bit. But we're trying to focus on not too much bait out, just trying to get that one bite at a time. So far, not even a liner, not a fish rise. At least last time we were seeing fish rise, even with the water down. This time, nothing. The bird life is fantastic. We're seeing lots of that. The resident beaver came through just as we got here this morning. So, there's life around, and that should be a good sign that the fish are going to come around, but no signs of them yet. As the day progresses, we may move around to that point. We may move into the channel. Who knows? We could try a bunch of different things. But the important thing is we keep our focus on getting that December fish, completing this challenge, and then we can sit back and go over all the stats for the season of just how well we did. I need a coffee and I forgot my kettle. Well, I just done a recast myself, but I think Goldie's probably overdue for one. So we're gonna kind of look at some options, maybe change some hook baits. We'll see what's happening, and hopefully something will happen soon. update time, I suppose. It's just approaching 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The morning has gone by uneventful. A few knocks and bumps here and there, but really that's it. No takes, still no signs of any fish rising. It still looks really good for a bite, and some of the best days we've had in this spot are days where we never saw a single fish rise. Yeah, it's hard to say. Another angler actually turned up and is fishing down in the channel. I've not seen him get anything yet, but you know, the fact that somebody else is out, you know, it shows a good sign that maybe some fish have been moving around lately. Like I said, it's been 2 weeks since we were here, so who knows what happened around here last weekend. Maybe some people caught, don't know. So, as of right now, I am still using a multi-rig, but I have changed my rig entirely. I'm using a chatty setup with a 15 mil pop-up. I went to a larger bait, a different color, using pink now. And the chatty is multi-rigged on. I'll go over that later on. Hopefully, if I catch. So we'll see. You know, I kind of set up that chatty to be able to cast a little bit further with the distance lead. Try and move it around a little bit more often, seeing as it doesn't seem like they're really getting on any of the sticks or the pack bait that we've put out there. And right now, kind of see I'm fishing alone. Goldie's actually had to go back to the van to warm up. He's gotten that cold, believe it or not. Mr. Shorts in the wintertime. If you go back to our January video, it was brutally cold out here and he was still wearing shorts, and today the cold is going right through him. So he's gone back to warm up, and eventually he'll make his way back down here, and I believe the game plan is to do what I did last time. When he comes back down, if there hasn't been any indication or any other takes or signs of fish, I think we're going to load up the sled and go all the way around to that point again. It's a lot steeper than it used to be over there, so I don't know if we've even got a spot where we can get down with the net, but I think that's our best chance. If there's no fish coming from this side, might as well move. It gives us a good angle at the same structure we're fishing. We can get in amongst the snags a little bit better, and it's deeper water. So hopefully, you know, if we don't pull one out here, we can head over that way, you know, for the last, say, 2 or 3 hours of the session, and see if we can maybe sneak one or two fish out. We need our December fish. Nothing is happening. It's driving me nuts, you know. Everything we're doing is right. There should be fish here. They should be biting, but I don't know. Some element we're missing. The rig came out in the net. Okay. So there's a little Chatty multi-rig setup. I'll go over that in detail in a few minutes. Oh my, I could not be happier right now. What an absolutely immaculate, healthy, fat little common. I got my snow carp. An absolutely gorgeous fish. And December is now conquered for me. I am absolutely over the moon with this fish. I'm at literally a loss for words at this moment. Aside from getting Goldie his fish, the year-long challenge, at least for me, is complete. Now that I finally got Goldie out of the van after 2 hours, maybe he'll actually try to get one on his line. Wow. 12 months of carp. So far for me, conquered. Absolutely gorgeous fish. The color and the scales are perfect. This is a stunning, stunning little fish. Okay, so I want to get my line back out there because we're starting to get low on time. Probably got about 2 hours left, and I want to try and just get this back out there in case there's more fish around. Goldie's line is now back out now that he's down here. His line is just left of where I picked that fish up. I'm still just shaken of how exciting that was, and you know how cold the water is. But as I mentioned earlier, I switched the hook bait to a pink pop-up. This one is about a 15 mil. I don't know what it was originally. This is one of the ones that Core sent to us from Holland, and it was, I believe, originally a white pop-up that was just soaked with Wonderberry goo and almond goo. So with the yellow not producing, the pineapple not producing this time like it did last time, bite-wise, I wanted something that I could put out there, whether I had a stick or pack bait around it or not, and it would have a lot of leakage of scent and flavor. And with these being the only ones I have soaked in any goo, you know, everybody knows, you see it online all the time, goo catches fish. It just, there's a lot of powerful attractors in it. These are the only pop-ups I have that have that particular kind of scent attractors in it. And yeah, like this is where I got my indications. This is where the activity came, was on one of these little pop-ups. So in keeping with the multi-rig, the inline setup I had on earlier, I wasn't getting any indication. I couldn't get it as far as I wanted to. Funny enough, about an hour ago, after the whole day of no indication, no actual like rises or anything, about an hour ago, saw a fish rise about 30 yards out just over the flat across from us. So I immediately cranked this in, dropped it right on top of that where that fish rose, and immediately put 2 pack bait balls over it. Within 20 minutes I started getting some indication, some line activity, and yeah, it was quite exciting. So because I wanted to use this out at distance, I'm kind of going back and forth right now, I know, but it's because I'm so hyped up right now. Switching from the inline setup, I went to a very short, like 16 inches of, 14 to 16 inches of lead core to a distance lead. This is the same setup I was using recently in November with a helicopter rig coming off of it to fish at distance. That was at the secret spot with Demir. Him and I were fishing, 90 plus yards out. We were doing really well. All I did with this is I took the helicopter rig, the longer rig, off, and I tied up a little multi-rig chatty. Now, I got the idea. I was watching the Carpology YouTube channel, and they showed how to tie Mark Pitcher's stiff hinge rig. So this is basically the business end of that stiff hinge rig that Mark Pitchers uses, where it's this particular piece here is a 17-pound test P-line, where it's actually folded and doubled over to form the little multi-rig there. Still using a little micro ring swivel on the multi-rig part, and then that's just a 2-turn blood knot to a ring swivel. And I just have a little piece of anti-tangle sleeve, just a little piece of rubber to kind of protect that knot over the swivel and kind of help make it stand up a bit. It turns really well. The hook in particular here is a Corda crank chatty. Again, this is one of the ones that Core gave us. The Monster Carp tackle hooks are the ones I would prefer. When I'm using a chod setup, I try to use the Raven hooks, but I forgot my Raven hooks, and I just happen to have these in the box, so that's why that hook's on there, and it did the job. So that's only 2.5 inches up, complete with like swivel, everything, 2.5 inches off the bottom. And what I had done is I had molded some pack bait around the lead so that I had this close to where the feed was. Started getting some indications, some little pickups, knocks, bumps from the line, and then all of a sudden ripped off. So it worked. Used the right rig, just a modification. The multi-rig is multi-purpose, man. You can set it up in so many different ways for it to be effective. Challenge complete for me for the 12 months of carp. So I'm going to get this set up. I'm going to get this back out there, Goldie's out there, and then I'm going to get out my notebook. I'm going to mark down my December fish, and then we're going to go over some of the numbers for this season for me while we wait and see if there's another bite coming. I'm wired and scatterbrained right now. This is crazy. What's that?
It's running.
Of course. It's Will. Hello, Will. You're on camera.
I'm on camera?
I was just about to do a bit to camera while we're sitting here, and you've called to interrupt.
Well, perfect. I guess I'm going to get that little blurb where my picture pops up and on the phone, Will Bichette.
Maybe.
AKA a guy who breaks all the scenes.
So,
Little vision.
what's shaking, buddy?
Well, I'm just curious as to how you guys are making out.
Well, it's funny you should ask.
Oh dear.
we're down to less than 2 hours of the session. There's about 8 inches of snow on the ground. It's still well below zero.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen 2 fish rise all day.
Yeah.
Goldie is still suffering. He actually spent 2 hours in the van trying to warm up because he couldn't keep warm. And
That's a first.
he's not had a bite at all.
Okay.
But I actually landed a fish so far.
Hey! Conquered!
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
How big was it?
Just a little guy, maybe 4 or 5 pounds, but like
Hey, that's okay.
scale perfect, gorgeous colors, absolutely beautiful fish.
Oh, well, you'll have to send me some photos of that guy.
Well, maybe, we'll see.
Okay. Well, I hope to see you guys soon. We definitely have to get together for a little session there at some point during the winter. My wife's actually bugging me, would you believe, saying that she wants to come down and catch some carp in the winter in the snow.
Well, so far we're the only ones putting any feed in this spot, so we will just keep it going, and hopefully we can get you guys down here.
That sounds pretty sweet, brother. Well, I won't keep you from your filming, but we'll talk soon, all right?
Absolutely, bro. I'll talk to you through the week.
Talk later.
All right, ciao, man. Leave it to Will to interrupt everything. Everything. Let's put the phone down. Okay. So I got the handy dandy notebook here. What we've done through the course of the year is, I guess you didn't really keep track of your fish, which you probably should have because you've caught a lot. You've done well.
Yeah, I was more interested in just catching a 20.
We can't hear you with that thing over your face.
Cold out here. I was just more worried about catching a 20, not catching numbers.
Yeah. Well, and catching one each month.
Yes.
But you've had your 20.
Yep.
You've had 2 30s.
Yep.
With a new personal best of 36, 15?
15 or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't write it down. But I did write down everything that I've caught for this season. Not only all the fish, but how many 20s, how many 30s, how many mirrors. Just to try and judge which months were the better months. You know, some months we got out more than others.
That was me.
That was your phone going off. Damn phones. But it's been an interesting year. Really cool to have actually kept track and see kind of how things played out through the season. It was really weird to kick January off of this challenge. I landed 11 fish in January. Like, that was completely stunning to me. And then March, when we thought things would really start to pick up, we got hit with more weather like this that was even worse. I had 1 bite, 1 fish in March on the very last session with like the last hour of the last session. So I just passed March by the skin of my teeth.
Yep.
But you had, what, 4 or 5 in March?
Yep.
You had quite a few, so you did well. So let's get down to business here. Part of the challenge was that I had to catch 6 20s. So 6 of the months had to be 20s. We actually achieved that pretty quickly, I think back in September.
Yes.
We got the last of the 20s when we were down visiting Jan down at his local harbor. So to look back over the numbers, overall, through the whole season, I have had 25 20s. And that ranges from like 20 pounds and a couple ounces right up to 29 and change. A lot of them were high 20s, you know, 26, 27, 28, 29, with very few of them being at the lower end of the 20 spectrum. I was very lucky enough to get 3 30s that I've landed this season. One of which being my new personal best, which I landed with Demir at the Shimano Canada Carp Cup back in May. Was 32 pounds, 11 ounces. Just a few days later, after coming home from that trip, a quick session out to a local spot with Goldie and Kevin, and I landed my second 30 of the year, which was 31 pounds 4 ounces, I think. That was another absolutely stunning fish. But yeah, 2 30s in the same week. And then not another 30 until October. That was when I got the most recent one. That was 30 pounds 13 ounces. Now I'm going to take half points on another one here. I believe that was in September. Yeah, September. I had been catching, you weren't, and I said, Goldie, you take the next run on my line. It just so happened that was your first 30, which was a killer fish, absolutely beast of a fish. It was caught on my line, so I'm not taking full credit for it. You get full credit because you did all the work, but it was my line. It should have been my fish. So
I was going to give you the ounces on it, but it was a 30 on the nose, so you can't even have any of those.
No, in that particular case, I had 30 and a half, or 3.5 30s this year.
30s.
But I'm more than satisfied with 3. You know, that was absolutely fantastic to be able to get those fish. So yeah, 25 20s, 3 30s, or 3.5 30s. The best month out of the year was October. In October, I landed 45 carp, 9 of which were 20s, and one of them being one of the 30s. So it was the most prolific month for fish overall, and the most prolific for 20s, for big fish. For 10 of those 45 to be big fish, you know, I was quite pleased. The next best month was August, with 32 fish. Only one of those was a 20, however, that month. I had a lot of small fish in August, just lots of them, and one of them was a mirror. The other mirror I caught in September, which was also a decent month, but not as good as October or August. So yeah, 2 mirrors, 3.5 30s, 25 20s, just wonderful numbers. Like I'm so pleased to have been so lucky to catch so many fish. The grand total up to this moment, we don't know if I'm going to get another one this evening. Probably not, but I'm hopeful. More hopeful that he gets his. But the grand total so far for carp for 2017 is 172 fish. I got no complaints. That's more than I thought I had. You know, I did really well kind of the last half of the season as I kind of got into a groove of kind of learning more about my equipment that I was using, refining the rigs a little bit more. Because once each month passed where I was able to catch my fish and get my 20 as needed on the multi-rig, I quickly switched over to other gears, tried different rigs, tried different tactics, different baits. You know, I did really well with vanilla boilies, still caught with the pineapple boilies, but also mixed some scents, some tiger nut liquid with tutti frutti. You know, tried out different things, different concoctions that, you know, I could utilize in my season next year, and hopefully kind of weed out some of the bigger fish out of the spots that we go to. So overall, you know, 2017 has been absolutely amazing for fishing. And we were able to share it with a lot of great friends. You know, so happy that we were able to do that big tournament back in May with Demir. You know, to be able to fish with Demir, we fished with Jeff, Dave Fleming, Dave Pendlebury, Clint. You know, we didn't really get to fish directly with him, but to spend time with Simon at the tournament from Carp Kit. To fish with Will, you know, that's always so much fun. We were lucky enough to fish with Matt Hayes and Richard Lee in October. You know, 2 very well-known anglers, you know, from England. I've learned so much from watching Matt Hayes' videos. It's amazing that I could keep myself together when I said thank you to him over and over again. And I've just had an indication. Had a bump. Over to Goldie's line. Oh well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, like there's so many people to thank I can't even think. I tried to write down a list of the names, and I couldn't. It would take me a whole day to go through the list of names that we could thank.
You forgot Jan.
Well, I didn't forget Jan. I was still getting to them. But Jan and Cor, we were able to fish with. We were able to fish with Jan a few times this year, but we fished with Cor back in the spring. I think that was April that he was here.
Yeah.
And it's always amazing to fish with him. He's so much fun, and such a kind guy. So kind. Both of them are. And I'm really looking forward to fishing with Jan again next year. Hopefully we'll get a chance to see Cora as well, but I was talking to Jan last week, trying to plan out some of the sessions for next season, so I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to get him up this way a little bit more instead of going all the way down there. We'll get him to trek this way again. But yeah, like, just so many great people, so much fun, such an amazing season. I want you to get your fish. I want us both to conquer the 12 months of carp, like, right now. Like, go. I'm wired, man.
I noticed.
Like, I don't even have any. I got gummy worms in the bag, so I've got sugar to keep myself going for the next 2 hours. But like, is there anything you want to add other than just getting a fish?
This is your moment. You got your fish. I have to wait my turn.
Well, hopefully you don't have to wait too long. Okay, you know what? We're going to turn the camera off now. I'm going to get into some snacks because I'm loopy right now. I'm so excited. I'm going to try to clean up some of the gear that I kind of thrown about once we got that fish. And hopefully in the next hour or so, Goldie will get his fish. If not, then we have to come back out. Luckily next week I got a few days open that we should be able to swing it. They might be short sessions, but let's try and concentrate on getting it. I think maybe you need to do a recast or something, but we'll figure it out. I'm gonna get snowballs and just start throwing them at you. Get up, move around, warm up, buddy.
Oh, I'm warm. Right on the very edge then.
Merganser went right through your line. I was watching him coming. I was like, "Is he gonna hit? Is he gonna hit?" Yours just smack.
Look how Gory cast it anyway.
Without scaring my fish. Oh, Goldie!
This was
Yeah,
going.
someone put an F-bomb in it though.
So what? You got the shot.
Well, we're down to the last, say, 15-20 minutes of the session. Trying to take everything down, get it all fastened to the sled to take it back up the hill. A few more indications since I was able to get that fish, but nothing resulting into a fish or even a full take. Just, pickups, probably just liners digging around the pack bait, stuff like that. The Goldie's changed his rig a little bit, changed his bait, cast around a little bit more often. No indication on his line whatsoever, other than the bird.
The bird.
The bird flew right through your line. That's it. So, while I've been very lucky and able to conquer December and the full challenge, it's looking like we are going to have to get out again. It's all Goldie's fault.
Just hope it's not flashbacks of January.
What, where you go all the way to the end?
All the way to the end where I have to go to the end of a tree.
Well, that tree, there's nothing left of it. So
No.
if you have to go out on that tree, you will die. But so far, it was a really good session. Really tested the patience. No activity. Really wanted to move. Just really wasn't able to make it happen. Because I couldn't haul all this gear over while you were up in the van. So that was kind of your fault. But really, having stuck it out, waited till I finally did see fish, put a bait on them, and like I said, I was lucky enough to get one. We still had indication after that, but unfortunately neither line is moving. I've now cast to a completely different area to let Goldie have that spot for the last little bit, so hopefully he'll be able to pick one off before we leave. But if not, for Goldie, December will continue. We'll try and get out again. Like I said, I think before, we got a little bit of time coming up next week over the Christmas holidays. Might be able to sneak out for a morning or an afternoon session. And with any luck, we'll have some of the other guys with us. And hopefully, you can finish this.
And then we can play video games for the rest of the winter.
Here we are out again, trying to catch our December fish, since I haven't been able to yet. It is the day before Christmas, so November 24th. And we had some weather. As you can see, there's quite a bit of snow everywhere, which should make for amazing photos when we catch our carp. John's already down at the swim, just setting up stuff, getting the rod set up and stuff like that. So I had to run back up to the van. That's why I sounded a little winded. I had to get the batteries for the camera. So I thought, hey, why not take a shot going down? Sorry if it's a little shaky. One of my goals for 2018 is to get a gimbal so this isn't so shaky. But as you can see, it's just a phenomenal amount of snow fell. They're saying 10 to 15 centimeters of snow fell, so all the trees look amazing. This hill is a little bit slippery because of the snow, but it is so beautiful out here. Temperature is perfect. It's just a little bit below zero, so there's a tiny bit of crispness in the air, but it's absolutely perfect. They're calling for a little bit more snow this afternoon, around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So hopefully we'll have our carp by then. We'll be out of here because I don't feel like driving in the snow, because I did a lot of that yesterday. And people are crazy and driving in the snow. Such a picturesque morning that I had to grab the camera and come all the way up this hill and shoot the walk we have down here. It's just amazing. All these trees and so much snow. So here we hope for a good day. I think the sun is trying to peek out right now, which will make it nice and super bright out here. Maybe the carp will get turned on by a little bit of the heat going in the water, but I don't know what else to say. It's just breathtaking out here.
If it wasn't so dire that you kept
See that? I was not expecting a bite this early. It's on that same multi-rig choddy from last week. He was going with it too. You saw that? Just didn't quite have it enough.
Trying to get an artsy shot. Stop trying to catch fish.
I'm sorry. Last week the bites didn't come till after 3 o'clock. So this is what I'll do, Goldie. Because you're just to my left. I've spooked that fish to you now.
Okay.
I'm only putting this back in to help spook him back over to you.
Well, as long as he waits 5 minutes till I get my archery shot, and then...
That was a good little take, though.
Yeah.
Ooh, I forgot we had this camera going, too. So, what time is it now? 20 after 8 this morning. So, we've been set up for an hour?
An hour, yep.
And we've already had a bite. Still nothing rising, but...
We don't really expect that, though.
That's promising. Gives you a better chance.
Yep.
Now that I'm spooking them all your way. And once again, there goes the fresh hook bait theory, because that's the same pop-up from last week. Well, yeah. But I missed my first bite last week, too.
Didn't you miss the first two?
Well, the second one was more like a digging with it. It wasn't really a take.
Oh, that's right.
There goes Charlie. It's just me, by the way. Yeah, that was a good little take. Spook them your way, Goldie. You're getting the next bite.
Time for an update. It's about 1:45. Very little's been happening. John had that run earlier. I've had maybe 3 line bumps or pickups or whatever the fish are doing out there, but it is very quiet. So quiet, in fact, that we're doing this update to maybe spur the fish on and bring them to the line. But last time we were here, John's fish didn't come out till about 3 o'clock, so we could potentially be sitting here for another 3 hours doing nothing. So we put the camera on to, I don't know, pass some time away. We have been in contact with some people to help us out here. We called Will from Peterborough Carp and Guides, and Dave Fleming, who usually he fishes this spot. He hasn't this year. He's been fishing a little bit further downstream because of the rain that we had in April. The water people have been messing around with this, so this has been fairly empty most of the year that we've just found out. So this is why we're thinking there's not as many fish as there were last year. With the potential, or just the amount of rain that we had, they had to divert most of the water out of here, or downstream would be flooded out, and that would be bad. Much like most of our fishing was this spring. There was a lot of spots that we couldn't get to because there was just so much rain. So we just found that out about 2 hours ago. So that would have changed where we are sitting right now if we had this information. But it wouldn't be a December snowy winter carp if it wasn't difficult to get. If we don't get it today, or if I don't get it today, because John already got his, we have one more day. That's the 31st of January, or December. I'm thinking January because it was the very last day that I caught that other fish while I was hanging out on the tree. So we're hoping it doesn't come to that. We're hoping to just get my Christmas miracle, get the fish, get to go home, celebrate Christmas tomorrow, be done with the 12 months challenge, and get on to 2018 and all the other cool new challenges that we're going to devise. But now I'm just rambling because there really is nothing else to do. Oh, John's coming out of the bivvy.
What? You got nothing to do? I'm gonna put you to work. Start spotting. Let's put 10 kilos of bait out there and just see if something comes through.
Do we have 10 kilos of bait?
Well, probably got 5 kilos with this.
Yeah, but then I have to walk all the way back up to the van. Again. I'm just too fat for that now.
I won't argue.
Oh.
It would be nice if a bite would come along. Who knows what they're doing out here. I'm waiting to see a rise. Last week when we saw the rise,
The 2 rises, that's when
Yeah.
you got your 2 fish.
that's when we got the bites.
Yeah. You're right, you got your first run and then your fish.
Yeah.
Really?
Nice sweater.
Hey, enough of that.
Oh,
no horseplay.
Oh, yeah, right. Already got just snow on my shorts. Oh!
Was that your knees?
No, that was
You
pants.
You ripped my pants?
Hello? What's going on? Well, you reached him. I'm out fishing. Oh, are you trying to do video? Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to do the, Goldie and I are trying to finish the December video because he still hasn't got his December fish yet.
Probably turn so the sun's not right behind you.
No, she doesn't need to see that.
There's my pencil hat going.
There you go, see?
I called you yesterday.
Yeah, I left you a message too. Yep, I even left you a voicemail.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotta let you go, Ma. He's there, Goldie.
All right. Yeah, later.
You got him? Hang on, Ma. Goldie's line went slack. Are you in? Don't tell me you lost that fish. Oh, okay, I gotta go.
Bye.
Bye. I was just swearing. I had to be pretty fast. Is the camera on? Oh, it's going. I was just about to turn it off, too. Yeah, I didn't realize I was knowing that I was down my mother.
That was quite the take. I didn't hear it because my mother was talking to me. See what happened, Goldie? You just needed my mother to be on the phone. That's all you needed. Which side are you going to bring him on?
I have no idea where he is yet, so...
Okay, he's on the left.
Yeah, he's going left. Yeah, I got him. Good, good. You swam under the net. He swam under the net, and then when I tried to get under and scoop him, the net folded in on itself.
Oh, my heart almost fell out of my pants. I was like, no.
Hey, Goldie.
Oh.
He's in the net.
He's in the net. Oh.
It's a nice little fish, too. And that was out at the deep spot.
That was way out. That was like stupid far out.
That was awesome.
That was not what I needed. Yeah, I'm still shaking from that one. As soon as I saw that fish go under the net, I thought I lost him. But, lo and behold, a true December carp. So, last year when we fished this spot, we had better luck. Water was not pushing in, so there's main flows going that way, and the water's coming in. Last year it was going out. So there was warm water coming in from the city into the here. So a lot more fish were hanging out and doing stuff like that. So this year it's been a lot more. This guy is really hungry. It's been a lot more work for us because the fish just aren't here. They don't want to be here. It's cold and there's not a lot of food source. Unlike last year where it was warm and there was like all kinds of food. So yeah, getting these guys now is very special because oh, there you go. Are you gonna cooperate this time so I can keep talking? Oh, you're angry. So yeah, getting these guys now is a lot more difficult because this water is freezing cold. Where last year it was nice and warm. Sorry, not to smile for the camera.
Got it.
I got it. So I'm going to talk about my rig after I put him back. We'll do a wrap up of this entire year and our thoughts and feelings and stuff like that, and how grateful we are or ungrateful we are, or how much of a pain this has been. So yeah, here we go. This is my December fish. I've now conquered 12 months, which is, to me is crazy. Oh, you're gonna do it? You gonna do it? Come on. There you go. Get some more water on him. Yeah, you in the net. Oh, he's so pretty.
That's
too.
a nice fish, man. Good solid fish.
Yeah, that's freaking cold.
Yeah, sorry. It's your fault you're wearing shorts.
Oh well. Okay. Oh. Yeah, that water is a lot cooler than it was last year. Whoa. Well, you gotta go that way. There you go. Oh, you did not want to be up here. Well, that was fun.
Now, no, like I said, you need to call my mom back and apologize for us hanging up on her.
Yeah.
And tell her how much of an amazing good luck charm she is. Like, thanks, John's mom. You got me my fish.
You're the bestest. So here it is, the rig that caught my December fish. I'm going to preface this right now. I didn't tie most of this. I did tie this little knot down here, but that's about it. Everything else John put together. Mostly because he had it already all together. So this is lead core. What? 15 inches long? About that.
More like 28 inches.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I knew you made it long,
It's
but
more
I
than
didn't-
2 feet.
I didn't know you made it that long. Okay, well there you go. It's about 2 feet long. Nice little 2-ounce lead. It's unattached here. It's got all its clips and everything. It's got these, they're chalky beads. Little buffer beads that keep your line from flying all over the place. I did have a chalky on here. On here earlier. It wasn't doing anything. So we went to the helicopter rig, which is basically the same line or same setup that I've been using. It's just on this really long line here. So it's got a little split shot on what was the line? Easy tees.
Strip tees.
Oh, strip tees.
ESP strip tees.
Thank you. ESP strip tees. So it's got this really thick coating on it, and then you just break it, and then it makes it all like hingy and stuff. So it's really kind of cool. And earlier in my update, I said that we were talking to Will, and he said, "Well, why don't you just try some sweet corn and a pop-up corn?" So I went to the sweet corn. That one just fell off. And a piece of corn, and it did the job. All the different boilies and pop-ups and all the other weird stuff we tried, and we just went back to this very simple, basic food that most carp eat for some weird reason, and that caught that little guy. So this is my setup. I will learn how to tie one of these one day so that I can make my own and have my own whole setup, and so I understand all the mechanics behind this, because all I basically know is it goes out and then this pops up, and that's all I know about it. And this hook keeps catching me, and it's really hurting. So there you have it, a helicopter rig. Probably the first time I've used one.
Yeah, it's probably your first time with the helicopter rig.
Yeah.
You usually do as a regular inline setup.
Inline setup,
You
yeah.
tie all that yourself.
Yes.
That's pretty much.
I have used a chalky once though.
Well, you've tied the hook link.
Yes.
So that's the same hook link you would use for your inline setup.
Yeah. It's
But
just
all it is, the difference is, let me put my cider down. I'm trying to enjoy my cider. The only difference is, instead of this coming out the bottom of the lead, you have it on a ring swivel attached above the lead. So you still get that bolt rig, that bolt effect, but this helps you kind of adjust things. Let's say you're fishing the heavy silt like we are. You can move this up or down. So because of the silt that we're fishing in, the inline setup was actually just dragging our hook links in.
And we were using these at the Park Lake. Yeah, where we did my line went in for like 15 seconds and we caught that fish.
Yeah, that's when we actually first started using the chalties.
Chalties, yes.
So it's basically exactly the same as a chalty, just with a long, supple hook link.
And the chalties you're tying yourself now, right? Because we were using the quarter.
We had the pre-tied quarter ones at the start of the season, and I learned enough from that to be able to tie them for us, and now we've tied a few modified versions, and they've caught us fish.
Yep. So there you go. Now I'm going to stop rambling again, because this sounds like my update I was just doing 2 hours ago.
You're excited. You can't help it. You've had a great season. Like, this was
I've had
your
an
first
amazing
proper season of fishing, and
well, last year I
last year you did a little bit.
What, maybe 9, 10 times I was out.
Just like the last half of the year.
Yeah, just throwing out a rod, just trying to figure out how it all works and everything like that. So January was my official first real attempt at catching a carp. I had put together, what did I have at the time?
Nothing. You started out just using all my equipment.
All your equipment. But I had started to cast my own line. Yeah. So the fish I caught in January was my first cast out and a proper catching of a fish.
All by yourself.
All by myself.
With the exception of ice fishing. That you had that.
Oh yeah, ice fishing was pretty nice. But yeah, that started the year off great, standing on the end of that tree, just hanging out there. It's still barely there. I think the rain from this spring took its toll
Yeah.
on it. It's barely there still. But yeah, that's how my year started, and
Just craziness.
it's been crazy. Like my goal was to catch a 20 and a fish every month. And that's all my goal was this year. I didn't want to catch a mirror. I didn't have any thoughts of catching a 30. I was grateful to catch a fish every month. I was grateful to catch the small guys because they're usually the better scrappers.
Yeah,
they're like that when we brought up here. He was angry. He did not want to be out of the water, and he was a scrapper. The big fish, they're amazing fish. It's just the size, and you're just like, how this thing has been in this world that long to become that big. It's just amazing. So, yeah, so I've caught, what, 230s?
You've had 230s.
230s.
With,
and then 330s.
No, you've had 230s. You
230s.
had a 29
29 and some
change,
weird
but
change.
yeah, you had your 230s, your 30 pound on the nose, which was your first 30 back in September.
Yep.
And then in November, when we finally had the first session that I had blanked in months, because I had lost 2 fish that day.
Yeah.
Right at dark that day. The camera was put away. We hadn't filmed all day, but the camera was out just in case of a special moment.
Yeah.
It's at the bottom of the barrow, and your line rips off. And what was it?
36.
36.15.
15. That's right, because it was almost 37.
That was a monster.
Yeah.
But you got your 20.
I got my 20 in Peterborough when we were there in October.
Yep. So it still took you all the way to October to get your 20.
Yeah, I was talking with somebody about that, and your goal this year was to get 620s in 6 months. Yeah. And I was thinking about that. If I had that goal, I would have been so hurting.
Yeah.
Because I got my first 20 in October, and I've been, I'm not going to get that goal. But yeah, my goal was just to catch a 20. So I'm very happy that I was able to do that. Extremely happy that I was able to catch 230s. Like, in my wildest dreams, I wouldn't have thought of catching those right now.
But that 36 you earned. You worked for that fish
that
day.
That was
day
a lot of
you
work.
did everything you needed to do.
Yeah.
And like you totally deserved that one.
And even catching that mirror that Will had caught like 2 months previous.
That was in October as well.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. And that poor sickly mirror that he put back, and the scrapping one that I got out, same mirror. And again, another fish I was never expecting to catch.
That fish was crazy.
In my first year of truly doing all of this. People go years and years without catching these kinds of fish, and I've caught like just about all of them in my first year. The only problem is now I don't know what I'm going to do, what my goal is going to be for next year. So
we have some ideas.
Actually, some ideas around and stuff like that. We're going to actually sit down and have a proper meeting next week, or no, this week.
This week. Yeah, I guess it's this week now.
This week now.
We'll get into the Anglerfile studio and actually get the whiteboard out and just start mapping out the plan for next year.
It'll be nice next year because we won't have to worry about.
We won't have the pressure of the whole monthly video.
Yeah, carping
one thing's for sure. I am not doing a 12 months of anything ever again. Like, it was exciting.
It was great.
It was a lot of fun. We met some amazing people.
There was a lot of stressful months though.
But it was very, very stressful. Even the months where we were catching steadily, just to try and make sure, like some of them it was all done in one session, which was great.
Yeah.
But then we had to go back and sit and think, okay, well, we have literally an hour and a half of footage. And we got to try and use as much of it as possible to make sure it all fits in and looks good. And then we had other months where we have 16 hours of footage to get 2 fish. It was a lot of stress, and trying to plan the schedule of honey, I can't be home again this weekend. We got to get
we didn't get it the last weekend. We had to get it this weekend.
So a lot of days where we could have stayed home instead of fishing and spent time with the family. We had to get out to try and get that fish and stay true to the challenge. But we did it. It's done.
Yep.
I'm going to actually start celebrating now with a cider. Get proper carpy here.
Well, should we do a cheers then?
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers to 12 months.
12 months conquered. Done. So technically we could go home. really, if we wanted to.
It's Christmas Eve. Who wants to be at home on Christmas Eve?
Well, it's come to an end. The December edition of the 12 Months of Carp, and the 12 Months of Carp overall is conquered. It's done. Goldie and I have finished it. It's complete, and I'm ready to just pack that away in the vaults and move on to other things. But it's been exciting, and despite all the rambling and just chaos that's been this December video, you know, I'm really happy we did it. And you know, we're finished now. It's Christmas Eve. We need to get our butts home. You know, get time with the family, get everything ready for tomorrow, the big day. You know, gotta have some time with the little guy and watch him open his gifts. But now that we're finished, we just want to pass on from both of us a very happy New Year to all of you. Thank you so much for watching and following along, and best of luck in the 2018 season. You know, we're gonna keep doing this. You know, fishing whatever we can, different species, different tactics, definitely lots more big carp. That's the goal. And yeah, we hope you follow along. And you know, feel free to share things on our Facebook page. You know, that's always up and running, and I'm always watching that. Goldie's always watching that, so we try to comment and post back as much as we can. Follow us on Instagram, and of course the YouTube channel right here. We love to read the comments and, you know, see how people are doing as well. So you can follow along, we'll follow along with you, and all the best next year. Come on, one more bite. Everything else is packed up. Let's just one more bite.